Renting is wasting your money. What if I told you that every single rent check that you write is basically like lighting your hard-earned cash on fire? And I know that sounds harsh, but hear me out. The median homeowner's net worth in the US is about $400,000, but the median renter's net worth is about $10,000. That's a 40x difference. Why is it? Because when you own a home, you're building equity, and when you're renting, you're not. You're not just paying for a roof over your head, you're funding your landlord's mortgage, their equity, their wealth. Every month, your money disappears into their pocket, and you're left with nothing to show for it. Now, this is a highly debated topic that not everyone agrees with, but I truly believe that renting is wasting your money. And while I do agree that in short bursts, renting can be okay if you have significant debt to pay off, I truly believe that the quickest way to wealth is owning assets, and none better than real estate. Compare renting to owning even just one property. Instead of burning cash, every payment you make builds equity, creates leverage, and sets you up for passive income streams down the line that renters will just never see. So today I'm going to break down why renting is one of the biggest money drains out there and how home ownership can flip the script. By the end of this video, you'll never look at your rent check the same way again. Here are some harsh truths about renting. When you rent, 100% of your monthly payment disappears the moment you send it. You don't build equity, you don't own an asset, and you don't benefit from appreciation. You're literally paying off your landlord's mortgage. Let's say you rent for $2,000 per month. That's $24,000 per year in over 10 years. That's $240,000 absolutely gone, and that's not including the amount that you'll pay due to inflation if your rent increases over those 10 years. Imagine if you had taken that same money and applied it to a mortgage. After a decade, you'd have hundreds of thousands in equity plus the appreciation. Here's the reality: rent always goes up. Inflation, demand, landlord expenses, your rent will always increase. It's endless. Your landlord loves inflation because it means they can raise your rent. But if you're a homeowner, inflation can actually help you because of what's known as fixed debt. If you get a 30-year mortgage, your payment will stay basically the same for those 30 years as inflation climbs and rents around you climb. Inflation can actually be a cheat code to you building wealth as a homeowner. Home ownership absolutely flips the script for these 4 reasons. And the first is that it's a forced savings mechanism. Every single mortgage payment that you make, the money goes towards interest and principal, but those principal payments that you make actually increase your net worth because they force you to save money, and it pays down the house with every payment. Reason number 2 is appreciation. Historically, real estate has rose about 3 to 4% per year. That means if you own a house that's worth $300,000, you'll see about $10,000 in growth in year 1. That's money that renters will never see. Reason number 3 is known as leverage. And as a homeowner, you can control a much larger asset with a much smaller down payment. Let's say you buy a house worth $300,000. You can put $60,000 down, and as the home appreciates, you're getting what's known as leveraged returns, which actually beats historical growth of the stock market. The 4th reason why home ownership flips the script is because it offers tremendous tax benefits. If you own a rental, you can claim what's known as depreciation and save thousands on tax per year. Also, when you sell a home, you can roll it into the next home that's known as a 1031 exchange. Home ownership beats renting all day. Now, what's the ultimate play? Own real estate for equity and leverage, while also investing in dividend-paying stocks for liquidity and passive income. Imagine this scenario. You buy a duplex, live in one unit, rent out the other. Your tenant covers most or all of your mortgage. Meanwhile, the $1,500 you use to spend on rent can now be invested into ETFs and dividend-paying stocks. Fast forward 10 years, you've now got equity, cash flow, and a stock portfolio. A renter, they've just got higher rent. There are also many emotional benefits that you gain from owning real estate, and the first is control. As an owner, you decide if you can paint the walls, get a dog, or put in a home gym. As a renter, you're basically living out someone else's rules. The second benefit is stability. You can't be kicked out because the landlord decided to sell, and you can't be forced into yearly rent hikes. That stability is absolutely priceless because you'll know how much your mortgage payment is going to be for the next 30 years with that fixed rate debt. So now I'm going to address 3 common excuses I hear all the time for why people don't buy real estate. And the first is the most common: I don't have enough for the down payment. I don't have 20% down. Well, let me tell you right now, 20% down is a myth. You can look into buying homes with as low as a 3.5% FHA loan, or if you're a veteran, even 0% down. You don't need 20% down to buy a home. Look into alternative options. The second excuse that I hear is, but housing prices are so expensive, and that's true. Housing prices have recently hit an all-time high. However, when you're renting, you're basically throwing your monthly payment into a black hole, whereas if you own a home, you're stashing away money every single month for savings and you're building wealth. So the last excuse I hear all the time on why people are not buying real estate is they believe that there's a market crash coming. And right now, what we're seeing in the US is that certain pockets of the market are seeing corrections, especially the Southeast. There's not some widespread market crash. Historically, real estate has increased about 3 to 4%, and over the long run, you can count on real estate prices increasing. So is renting wasting money? There's some circumstances like paying off debt or if you're moving around where it does make sense. I truly believe that over the long term, renting is like throwing your money into a black hole. The people in our country who are building wealth are buying properties and holding on to them for years. They're not wasting 10, 20, 30 years renting and throwing that money into a black hole. They're buying real estate, they're holding on, and if you want to take it even a step further, a lot of them, like me, have turned their primary residences into rental properties and play that game. It's very powerful. If you got value from this video, hit the like button, subscribe for more. We're just getting started here. Thank you all so much. I'm out.